Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zhiwei from the UT Southwestern Medical Center. And today, actually this is my first time hosting a symposium, and it is an honor to be one of the moderators at this symposium. I also appreciate to spend this morning with everyone. So today is the first section. I'm personally really excited we can invite Dr. Johnson Liu to share his personal job experience. Additionally, the topic of his talk is my lifestyle career change from engineering to biomedical science, from academia to industries. I believe that a lot of people may ask themselves, should I stay academia or industry? I remember when I get a PhD degree, I also asked these questions by myself. I discussed this issue with my friends, with my parents. Actually, they give me a lot of suggestions. However, I still need to make the decisions by myself. But finally, I chose the academia because I love to do the experiment, and I enjoy to find the new things and enjoy to find the new knowledge. However, there is no correct answer. Most importantly, due to the COVID-19, it is a lot of things extremely changed, not only in academia but also industry. So today, the Johnsons will share his thoughts on how can we survive in this tough situation, and he also will give us some suggestion on evaluate the career goal and choice in the best way. Finally, I cannot wait that Johnson share his experience and prepare for the job market. And after his presentation, we will open up the floor at a Q&A section. So we welcome all persons to ask you questions. So now, Johnson, the stage is yours.
Thank you. And thank you for the time. And also thanks TDPA for the invite to share my experience. Today I'm not just come to tell you which area you need to stay, academia or industry, but I'll just share my experience and hope with my experience you will know which area you want to go. So first, my topic is I have a slash lifestyle because I have pretty diverse background and have a lot of different roles. I'm a scientist, engineer, creators, authors, influencers, bloggers, and also YouTubers. And I'm going to share some of my education experience. So I received my bachelor degree in chemical engineering and civil engineering from National Taiwan Universities. And that's the photo when I graduated. On the left, he's one of my best friends in chemical engineering, and he's currently the faculty in the Maryland University now. And after graduating from the National Taiwan Universities, I served my military service in Dongyi. And is anyone familiar with Dongyi? It's a really small island, close to mainland China, and that's known as the islands for our Taiwan's areas. So it's kind of the interest, the times here, probably not everyone serving the military service will wear this kind of the hats, all these things. So maybe that's why after I decided to go to study the PhD in United States, I will go to the northeast areas. And after I finished serving my military service, I just become the full-time tutors. I think a lot of people from college students from Taiwan do a lot of tutor things and teaching the students and as a part-time job. And after that, I just feel that's not just what I want to do, and I want to find something else, try different things before I go to the United States. So I just joined the Nansen life insurance, become like the sales persons. And after that, I came to like States. So first, like, because when I was like a college student in National Taiwan universities, I joined a lab in chemical engineering doing like the in vitro study for Alzheimer's disease. So at that time, I found like, oh, that's very cool things, and I want to study the biologicals, like science or like biomedical engineering things. So I came to the United States and attended like the Cornell University for my Master of Engineering in Biomedical Engineering. And after that, I decided I enjoy the research life in the lab, so I should just pursue my PhD. So I studied a PhD in Biological Engineering for my Master of Science and a PhD in 2018. And after I received my PhD, I moved to Boston to join like the Langer and Anderson groups at MIT and Boston Children's Hospital as a research fellow. So it's like a pretty unique like research experience like at MIT, especially like in like the Bob Langer and Dan Anderson's groups, because I'm not just like postdocs. I use my like the diverse background like from engineering, biology, and chemistry to play as like the communication bridge between like the different aspects. Because these things I've observed like a lot when we have like multidisciplinary like the teams. We have the chemists, medical doctors, biologists, or engineers. Sometimes different aspects have different languages, but usually we are like when we are discussing about projects, we are just using like different language, and people cannot understand each other. So people sometimes have a fight, arguing like for the projects. So my role is like sometimes I just stop and like, oh, we should just stop arguing because we are talking about the same thing and we are proposing the same way, but we're just using different words. So that's part of like the interesting like work or research kind of growth at like MIT. And more like important is like at MIT, it's not just like postdoc work. It's sometimes I think it's kind of like the intern for the PI. So we need to like write a grant, we need to write a report, we need to meet with the funding agency to report our progress, and also we need to ask for more money. And like another thing is like we're not just managing the projects, we also need to manage the people. So I also have a chemist, Dr. Han, to help me to all my projects at MIT. So this kind of experience just made me feel like maybe like it's like a stepping stone for me to just stay in academia. And that's like I'm like pretty quick like go through like all my research experience because I have a very diverse background, so I almost did like almost everything. So I define my research by the size scales. In the nanoscales, that's a lipid nanoparticle for mRNA delivery. That's pretty popular for the like COVID vaccines, and also the nanoparticles for the therapeutic protein deliveries. In the middle, like the microscales, this the major work like at Cornell, like encapsulated cells inside the hydrogel capsules, pretty similar to like the juries, like the research, but like we are using the electron spraying technology to encapsulate cells in like the complex structure of the hydrogel capsule systems. In the macro scales, it's like we are trying to making like the bigger like the device for Taiwan diabetes patients. Because in the micro scale, like microcapsule is easy to implant those like capsules in the patient's bodies. But the only thing, the problem is like it's hard to retrieve those like the capsules or the cells because we cannot guarantee the cells will survive in the body forever. So at certain time points, we need to replace the cells, and the microcapsule is not a good option. So we design a new way to have like the macro device so easily we can just suture in the like the body cavities and use like the easier way to retrieve and replace the cells. And after that, because like pandemic happens, so in 2021 I started to like thinking about like what I can do because MIT shut down for like almost like 6 months during the pandemic. There's really nothing we can do. except like reading the papers and like writing some like the draft manuscript. So, and at the same time, because there's a COVID vaccines starting to like show like effective, and also FDA like approved this mRNA-based like, vaccines, and a lot of my friends in Taiwan just kind of like starting to ask me like which vaccine should I get, and it's really so many like questions from all the friends like in Taiwan, especially like including like the medical doctors. So I decided, there are like the medical doctors in Taiwan. If they have these questions, how about like the rest of the people in Taiwan? So I started to like write a blog and do some like the YouTube to try to explain all these things. So when people have any questions in these like mRNA-based technologies, at least they have some like resource they can search online. And also at the same time, because I decided to like, should I stay in academia or in the industries? But after 1 year, like I interact with the different faculties and do the interview process, I decided I should just go to like the industry. So in 2022, in August, I joined a biotech company called Therapeutics. Okay, so I have a lot of changes in my life. So probably like, it's probably quite unique. All these changes like contribute to current like myself. So I just want to like go through like all my changes in my life. So first change is like, I try to like from the engineer aspect to the teachings and the business. So first, it's the same thing like, I did like part-time tutors when I was like a college student, and after serving the military service, I become a full-time tutor, and that's really great life. You can probably like cannot imagine like I can just do the teachings, and especially I have the bachelor degrees from the National University, and it's really powerful diplomas in Taiwan, so I can increase the salaries. And another thing is like I don't need to pay for tax. So these things is like usually like the tutor pay for the cash. So the good thing is like I can almost earn like $3,000 a month, and it's really like a nice life. But I asked myself, that's what I want. So I stopped all the like the tutorings, teaching in the private school, like primary schools, and I find a job for like the field scientists or like engineers for the device for the UV spectrums. After 1 week, I found like that's not what I want. And another thing is this company asked me to like trying to steal something from my like original lab in National University. So I just stopped to think about like, I should just quit this job. But I already decided like 3 months later, I will come to the United States. So I'm thinking about like, what should I do between this like area, like period time of the what I should do. So I decided to like, I should try like something different. Probably like I will never do like in my life. So I joined like the Nansen Life Insurance as like the signing representative. And you might ask like, how I behave like. And that's like the result. Just 3 months, I can just become the top 10 in the like the Taipei areas. So yeah, usually like this time I will hear something. Thank you. Yeah, the second thing is like after that I moved to the United States, but I really don't have any biology background. I'm fully trained as like the chemical engineer or like civil engineers, but I choose to jump to like biomedical engineering at Cornell. And that's really like tough like situation to me because no biology background. I know nothing about biology. I don't know how to do the cell cultures. I have no experience for animal works. And what I can do is like using the engineering aspect to see or like to study like biological phenomena. For example, if I encapsulate like the two types of cells, The red one is the MDA B231, that's a triple negative like breast cancer cell lines, and the green one is the MCF10A, that's a benign memory adversarial cells. If I mix them together, what would you expect to happen? Yeah, they're merged, and when I culture them for a couple of days, I found like they can form like the structures. And it's so exciting because I'm an engineer. I just found like, oh, they form like pretty like beautiful like the structures, and that's probably something unique. So the next step, I talked to like different faculties, especially from the biologists. So that's the one like the faculties I talked to. The Dr. Nick Things, he's a cancer biologist and trained by like the MD and PhD. And what he like told me is like, it's really nothing. Like all different types of cells, when we culture them together, they will like self-organize, just like the stem cells. Like organoids, they will just spur from the stem cell, differentiate and form their structures. So it's really like depressed when we just heard like this news like from like the biologists. And the next thing that we need to think about like, but we are trained as an engineer, what we can do with this kind of like the observations. So I thought about, first thing I thought about like double helix DNAs. And the final structure was like dissolve and expand from like the thermodynamic. So that's probably something we can think about why these things happens and how we control it. So we use the free energy concept, try to like expand and find out like what's the difference if we culture two types of cells, and especially like one is cancer cell and the other one is the benign like the or like normal like adversarial cells. So that's pretty interesting. Like when we mix with different ratios, control the cell growth for the different types of cells. For example, usually like the cancer cell will grow much faster. So we need to, if we add some like inhibitor to stop them or slow down the cellular growth, make them the same, and they'll show different structures. And eventually we find like the applications, because sometimes we need to use some like supporting cell or feeder cells for the stem cell differentiations. And we can use this kind of technology to try to differentiate the stem cell from the feeder cell to collect the cell we want. And that's like how we like try to apply the engineering principles to try to solve the like biological questions. And second challenge is like I started like doing some cancer work, because I'm also pretty like interested in all the cancer, because that's a major like disease causes death in the United States or even like in Taiwan. So the thing is like I'm still putting the cells into the capsule systems, because that's a system I developed for my first PhD work. So it's interesting. I'm still doing the MCF10A cells. When we culture them in the bulk and matrigels, it will always form very nice polarized structure, hollow structures. But if we put into the microcapsules, the insides, the capsule, the yellow one is still the matrigels, but it will never form the S9, like the polar structures again. And instead, they will crazy growing, just like unstoppable. And certain time points, they will eventually break the capsules and escape from the capsules. So that's pretty interesting. And we want to think about like, is this like the real things? Because I didn't put any chemicals, radiations, or like anything to induce the cell become cancers, just physical confinement. So I talked to another like the biophysicist, like experts at Cornell, the Dr. Claudia Fischberg, and she's also like one of my committees. And what she says like, I don't believe these things. This thing is like not true. It's just like random like observations. And I asked her like, so what should I do to prove I'm right? And she's like, if you inject these cells into the mice, if they can form tumors, I will start to believe it. So that's what I did. Collect those cells from the capsules and inject into the skin batch mice, and it start to form the tumors, and it's pretty exciting. And I started to talk to her, and hey, you formed the tumors. So am I right, or like is my hypothesis correct? Because another thing is like this like experiment or this project is like totally opposite with current hypothesis for the like a biophysical study in breast cancers. So I talked to like the different like the biologists. He's also like in my committees, and Scott is pretty kind like the like mentor to me. So every time I feel like frustrated because I talk to Claudia or meeting with Claudia because she always like refuse all my like evidence or all my experiments. And Scott will always tell me like, no, just do what you need to do and never say never. Because sometimes like I talk to Scott like, oh, I met different like the biologists and they say like it's impossible without any chemical radiations, the cell will behave like cancers. So Scott told me, don't do this, don't think about it these ways, because we are doing science, we never know like what happens like, in the next experiments, so never say never. And that's what I've learned from my PhD, like this is a very dynamic world, like with a lot of new technologies happens almost every day. So don't be afraid of changes, like be open mind and always, if you are like having any issues, any problems, always just acting to seeking for help. People will like love to help you. So in my PhD, the most people I talk to is the biologists, not just like the faculties, but also the PhD students. There's a lot of PhD students from Taiwan, and I'm just keep like bothering them, like it's sending them a message like with a picture, like is it something interesting to you or not? Yeah. And the third change is like after I received my PhD, I moved to Boston, joined the Langer Anderson groups. At that time, that's 2018, but in 2017, there was a first gene therapy was approved using like the AAV to treat the eye disease. So I started to think about like, no matter I want to stay in academia or in industries, I should follow the trend for the research, because this will be make my life easier. If I stay in academia doing the gene therapies, I can easily get funding from a company or from a government NIH. If I want to find an industrial job, it's also because the company were looking for the experts in the AAVs. But to me, I think about AAV is kind of the pretty powerful the technologies, but do we really understand about the biology part? So that's why I started to work on the mRNA gene therapies. I talked to Dan and Bob also they still assign me to do the type 1 diabetes project. I say I want to spend the rest of my time to learn about the mRNA therapies and try to do more, and hopefully I can combine two together for the new solutions. Then I changed my the expertise from change my work from the in vitro 3D cell cultures and cancer biology to gene therapies again. And fourth change is I just mentioned in 2021, just because of the pandemic, I started to think about what I can do, and same as the biologists did, trying to share the science, share my life and career development, and especially I figure out there's a lot of career development course at MIT, for example, the leadership development, and I think this is probably a lot of students in Taiwan, they don't know all these things, and if I can share all this experience, and especially I've all these kind of tough situations in my past, so I should share this experience, make the junior, the young professionals' lives easier. So I started to write a blog and also do some the video taping for the YouTube. And also another thing I want to mention about the people here, no matter you are PhD student, postdoc, or you are working in industry, personal branding is pretty key things I learned in the symposium in Boston. That's a postdoc association's symposium. Because what we have done is that we got our PhD degrees and we are like the expert in certain fields. So what's the next things? We need to build our personal brandings. So with the brandings, you can have more like influence or like the way try to help the peoples or like help different companies as well. So sometimes like we might receive the emails from like the companies like, hey Jason, you are like the expert in like mRNA deliveries. Could we like ask you some questions on some like our like therapeutic development? Yeah, and that's true because this company is working on the new drug, the new therapeutics for the patients. So that's what we are like doing the science, trying to help the patients. So that's another thing I want to just mention to the people here that personal branding is pretty important. No matter you all want to use like the LinkedIn or the personal websites, either way is good. Just trying to build up your reputations, and this will also make your life easier. And the last change is I decided to like jump from academia to industries. A lot of people ask me these questions. I've tried to apply or trying to stay in academia, but why should I just suddenly just decide I need to just go to the industries? So here I share my experience. I've around 10 faculty interviews during the past years, and after I talked to the different faculties about current academia environments, especially after pandemic, now the whole market become cold market, so there's no any hard cash flows in the markets now, and especially a lot of money is from the academia moving to the industries. So I found if I become the faculties in the current stage, it just make my life probably harder, or I'll become even tougher life than the postdocs, because some people talk about if I'm a postdoc, I'm pretty happy because anything happens, we have the PI to handle everything. But when we become the PI, that's a different things. We need to handle all the grant writing. We need to find out the money to support the students and support the postdoc. But another thing here is now it's hard to hire the PhD students or postdocs in academia. And so that's why a lot of my friends who are the assistant professors in the United States all complain about there's no student want to stay in the lab for a PhD or a postdoc. A lot of people when they graduate, they just move to the industries because they have paid the better salaries. Just imagine for I think a lot of people probably study a PhD in the United States, and if now the company can hire you as a bachelor degree scientist and pay more than around 100K per year, would you decide to stay in academia or in the industries? I think this is the tough questions, and to me, I think I enjoy the research. I like to do the research and trying to push all this technology into a clinical trial and try to help the people. So in academia or industry, I'm totally fine, but I don't want to worry about anything else. I just want to focus on my research. So I think about okay, faculty now probably is not the best choice for me. So I decided to join the biotech company, so I don't need to worry about my life, everything, and I can just focus on the research. And we are doing the same things. Every day when I enter the office, just turn on my laptop, start reading the papers, writing the grant proposal as well, the applications to the companies, and writing the experiment plans and do the experiment on the bench. So that's kind of the different things to me, because I like to do a research, but I don't want to just spend a lot of time feel like the tough or painful life, or maybe I can have a pretty good chair like the professor from yesterday, try to make our life easier. But to me, I think I just want to choose to move to the industries. So yeah, I think a lot of people is looking for the job. So I just have really quick tips for you to apply for a job, no matter for faculty application or industry. So usually in the faculty applications, we are submitting the CV. And what is CV? CV is whole your informations in your whole life. So you put everything on it. What school you are graduating, what's your GPA, your publication, your skill. But resume is a little bit different. So CV some people for example, Harvard style CV, it means you put everything in your CV. So I've seen some Harvard faculty have 15 pages of the CVs. That's kind of insane. But in the resume, when we apply for the job for the industries, usually they only want if you don't have the PhD, you have 1 page. If you have some publication you want to show, 2 pages maximum. And cover letters is also pretty important, no matter in the academia or the industries. You need to write a cover letter to show them why this school needs to hire you, or why this company needs to hire you. And it's especially when you are applying for the higher level of the job in the industries. Probably it's better to write the cover letter to explain why you only have 1 year of the experience, but you are applying for the principal scientist of the job, because you think you are qualified for these positions. And the rest of them will be just faculty applications. So the research statements, the teaching statement, and diverse statements. How much time I left? So I'll just go through just focus on the CV and the cover letters for this talk. And so the key components in the CVs usually is what the hiring manager or the committees looking for is your score, the ranking, the GPA, if you are fresh graduate. So for the faculty applications, definitely the thing the faculty want to see is where did you get your PhD, who's your PhD advisors, and where did you do your postdoc, and also who's your postdoc advisors. So definitely just put those things what people want to see in the CVs, and also next is your experience, your lab experience, your internship, working experience. That's all the people want to see. And the third one is the skill set. So if you have any professional skills, definitely just put it into the CVs, and always customize your CV for different positions, no matter for faculty job, for industrial job, because different positions where they are trying to do is they are trying to find the keywords to fit into their positions. So if you already know this faculty position is looking for the lipid nanoparticles, highlight the lipid nanoparticles for them. If you know this industrial position, senior scientist position is looking for protein engineering, try to highlight the protein engineering in your CV. And then that is publications. And the next is how to prepare a good CV. Try to put all the important things on the top, because you cannot assume everyone has will spend 10 minutes on your CV. Usually 30 seconds probably will be enough, because they'll just go through from top to buttons. So if you have anything that's really important you want to tell the recruiter or the committees, just put those things on the top and highlight every important information. For example, if you are just fresh graduates, all the hiring manager want to see is what's the school. So highlight the school, and Also, summary your work in a quantitative way. So numbers, you always can give people a good impressions on your work. So if you talk about like I've improved the the patient survivals, that's probably like people think, oh, you're great. But if you have improved like 20%, 50%, or like I improve the production rate by like 2 times, 3 times, if you give them the numbers, usually people will like have a good impression on your work. So that's a quick example when I apply for a job. So I just highlight everything that they want to see and put the most importance on the top. But these things will be different when you are applying for a different job. So that's again like customize your CV for different positions. And the next is like the cover letters. Cover letters is the way you need to like explain to the recruiters or committees like why you fitting these roles. So the first paragraph usually is like kind of like abstract. Like if they don't have time to read all your cover letters, they'll only read like the first paragraph. So try to like put every important information in the abstract. And the second is like the introduction. What's your motivation want to apply for this job? And you can also write some like experience and also what you expect to do in this company or in this school. And that is also the pretty quick summaries. So if people are busy, usually just read like the first paragraph and the last one. So the same things, like the most important is on the top. And another thing different is like you need to do some research on the school or companies. For example, if you apply for the faculties, you need to know like what kind of facilities you can use and especially apply to your future research in the school. And also any collaborations, any like other experts in the department. And the company is the same, like what's the current collaborations or partnerships with different companies, what kind of things you can do, and you can contribute to this company or to this department. And the last thing is like, I would say, use a simple sentence, because we are like applying is like for the science faculties, not for the literature. So they don't expect you to write in pretty complex like the sentence. So I've talked to a lot of Americans people, like if I write pretty complex sentence, could you understand? They say yes, we can, but I don't want to spend time just understand what you are writing. If you are writing pretty complex like sentence, they just throw away because they don't want to spend time on this. So that's one of like the example I have here is like when I apply for faculty, I have this kind of template for myself. So the abstract, everything is the same. I think I'm just almost run out of time. So I just go to the tips for job hunting. So if you are looking for a job, now that's a different like, business model now. You can try to find the recruiters. Now recruiters spend a lot of time. They try to help you to customize your CV, try to fit in the role like company wants. And another thing is the friends refer. And because the friends, if they work in the companies, they know who is the hiring managers, and they can help you to transfer your CV to the hiring managers. So instead, like you apply to like the company's websites, you'll make sure your CV has been like transferred to the hiring managers, not just stay in like the HR drawers. And alumni network is also pretty important. You can use the LinkedIn to find out like, if there's any alumni in this company, and you can contact them directly, and they can help you to refer or like help you to let you understand like what's the position in these companies and also what's the actual like daily life they have. And also last is like try to find the career centers at the school if you are still a student. They also have a lot of help to help you to for your CV, for your like the resume and also cover letter writings. So the take-home message here is like don't be afraid of the change. Find your passions, follow your heart, do what you want to do. So if you like to do the teaching and enjoy the interact with the students, academia is probably the right place. If you are enjoying doing the research, the staff scientists in the school and research institution may be options. But if you want to like have a pretty like fast pace of the research, the industry might be the option to you. And third one is like, that's words from Bob, like try to dream big when you are young. Do everything you want, try to imagine everything you want to do. Don't give up, don't say anything you cannot do, never say never. And that's like, always face your challenges. And also, our company is hiring, we're in the growth phase, so yeah, if you are interested, just send me an email with your CV, and also if you have any like, interesting positions, you can talk to me later. And thank you everyone, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Johnson, for your excellent presentation. So now we are welcome to everyone ask your questions.
Thank you for the talk. I feel I have a very different lifestyles compared to yours because I've always been like, I never thought what to do next, and then I was like kind of being pushed by what options I have. So that's very interesting to me. So I have two quick questions. So the first one, you're saying about thinking things big, right? Never say never. But now you're in the industrial. Were you afraid that in the industrial you cannot dream big? For example, you said in your PhD or in the postdoc you met 3 PIs and they all gave you different opinions, and actually the first one is quite depressing. But you might face this in the industry, right? Because your boss may say, okay, I don't want to go on this project, or the company stop this project. But you still think this project is quite interesting, but you are forced to stop doing the work. Were you afraid of that? And the second question is, you mentioned about this future career goal on your CV. Do you put a timeline there? Because you can put everything for the future work, but if the future work is like for 5 years or 10 years, would that be practical, or you should put something like more for short-term future plan?
Yeah, that's really good questions. And the first question is like never say never. Yeah, I think the same thing in the industry. So that's why when I say like, when a lot of people ask me the same questions, what do you feel in the industry? Is anything different except the salary? I say, no, everything is the same. But I think the first thing is like, this is the same like finding a faculty job. You need to like enjoy the like the culture of the company or the school, and then you need to like, for example, in the faculties, probably you need to find a really nice, kind, supportive like the chair to support your work. To me, it's the same. I find a pretty supportive managers, so you'll support all my work in the company. So I think everything is the same. And I will say like the industry or academia will make a huge difference. But sometimes the difference probably be like, we want to see a lot of things profitable, and we can do it in a certain timeline. So the second question is like pretty great because I forgot to mention. So sometimes like the short-term goal is probably like necessary, especially for faculty applications. You need to like plan all your like 5 years, like what you're going to do like in the like as a faculties. So, but in the industry, I think probably will be just give like them like a brief idea what kind of like the career, like the ladder or career train you want to go. For example, like the currently like in the industry, that's a like individual contributor career track and the manager track. So it's totally different, and there's a new like the structures now. So that's one thing you can like mention in your like the cover letters. Like I just want to become like individual contributor. When I get promoted, I still focus on like the science part. I don't want to manage the people. I just manage the projects. So I think that's probably a little bit different between the academia cover letters or like the industrial cover letters.
Thank you.
Thanks for the sharing. It's very nice. And as you said, during our career journey, there is a lot of debating and decision making. And as you mentioned, you make several changes along this way. So during this change, can you mention, is there any of them actually you make very tough decision and to get that change? And when you make this decision, what's the top factors or parameters you consider the most and to push you to give that motivation to move on to the next phase?
I can just use my first change when I become like the sales. To be honest, that's pretty like good like the results when I like try to sell all this like the insurance. So the life is pretty good, and also like my parents worry about like if I want to stay in like the Nansan for my life. So like at that time I told myself like it's a tough decision, right? Because pretty great like salaries, nice life, and that's the environment I grew up, so I don't need to worry about like any new like the environment. But I told myself like I haven't done the whole research in my life. When I was a kid, I want to become a scientist or engineer doing the research. I should try it. So that's why you see like all my life I try to do everything because I want to know if I really like it or not. Because I talk to myself almost like every day, like, do I really like this job? And if not, I should find something I have the passion, I really love it, and I should do this thing. And it's also like, I forgot who told me this, is like, I should find a job, like every day I will wake up, I will feel really exciting like, every morning. And I can go to like the lab or office, the school or like company to start my days for my job. Yeah. And what's your second question?
When you make those decision to make the change, what's the most important factors in your consideration?
Oh, that's a passion, if I like it or not. That's what I believe is like, you can be successful if you really have the passion to it. Because I really think my wife is like that in postdocs, really tough situations, like pretty bad like salaries, but I still enjoy doing like the research at MIT, enjoy the whole environment. So I would say like the passion will be the key things when I decide to like move the position or not.
Sorry, can I ask one more question? So I really cannot hold myself because I wanted to ask this question, but it's a little bit complicated one, and I feel, okay, maybe I still have some time. So the other day I was talking with Wei Min. So it's about, is a good boss a good boss, or is a good boss a bad boss? I'm saying that is because you talk about making a decision, also following Monica's question. When you have a passion on your job, but the salary is really bad, and you cannot realize that because every time you wake up, you feel exciting. I'm going to that job, I'm doing things that's very exciting, but you are paying with a very bad salary, and you will never think about making a decision to change your job. But when you have a very bad boss, you wake up, you are not happy, and then you will think about immediately like, okay, I want to change a job, and then that means the bad boss might be the good boss, but the good boss may be the bad boss. So, as you also said that when you are in your postdoc, you also enjoy that job, but what makes you think like I want to change my job?
So, I think the first thing I can say is like, no matter you are in academia or industry, our manager is also like the skill we need to learn about like how to manage your boss. Because in our lives, like probably like we will spend more time with our boss than with our like wife or husbands in our lives. So that's like one thing we need to do. Like for example, sometimes like I learn my boss and all my managers, and I know like how I like can manage them to make the decision for me, especially the decision I want. So that's probably the one thing. Probably is like my unique experience. So I know how to like manage or talk to these people and let them talk everything I want. So I don't need to be the bad guy to do these decisions, but I already have everything in my mind. And the second thing is you said like the good boss, bad boss for the like maybe the salary or all these things make the life easier. I think the thing I want to do like to move to the industry. Another thing is like probably maybe I'm not represent all the faculty applications process, but to me I just facing too many things like